Hi, my name is HJ, and in today's video, I'm going to be looking at the Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. Now, you guys can pick this up. I'll throw the link down below so you guys can find the current up-to-date pricing of this phone. And I'm also going to pop out on the screen down below with the current pricing for this phone as well, so you guys can visibly see that for yourselves. Now, in today's video, I'm really just going to go over my first impressions of this phone, and then I'm gonna take a week to kind of get familiar with it in some capacity, and then I'll hopefully do a follow-up review very soon. So starting off with the overall build quality of this phone, because this is an A series phone and because this is a cheaper A series phone at that, the body of this thing is primarily plastic, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I find that I have more grip with my fingers using this phone, especially with the indent here on the side. If you guys can see that, there's a little indent on the side. I can actually find that I have a better time holding this phone in my hand than I do with my Galaxy S24 Plus, which I'm currently using to record this video at the time of this recording. Now let's go over a physical tour of the device. Starting at the top, we have one of our microphones, and we have our speakerphone hidden up here above the camera, plus our, believe it's 5 megapixel webcam, but I'm going to confirm that again with a pop-up on the screen just to make sure. On the left hand side here, we have a SIM card ejector. This is for the physical SIM card. On the bottom, we have another speaker, which also doubles as another one of our microphones. On the right, we have volume up and down and power. And then also on the bottom, we have USB-C. Now, this does do a pretty decent job at charging, and I'll go over that in a little bit. And surprisingly, because this is a budget phone, you have a headphone jack. Now, I don't know what Samsung's doing. For whatever reason, I think iPhone does this too. On the more expensive models, there's no headphone jack, but you get more power. And on the budget models, most budget models, there's a headphone jack, but you get less power. Now, I don't know why they do that. I don't know if it's a thing across all phone brands, but I do know that Samsung and iPhone from Apple are definitely big on doing that. And I kind of hate that they do that because, I mean, honestly, if you're paying that much money, you should at least get a headphone jack. But I kind of also get their perspective is that because it's an expensive device, you probably have expensive headphones anyways. So I can kind of see it, but I'm personally not a fan of that in case I want to reach over and grab my wired headphones that I have in the other room and plug it up to the phone. Now, booting up this phone, it did not run Android 15 out of the box until today, or until yesterday, I believe. So now we have Android 15 on this phone. Originally, this thing was stuck on Android 14 because with Samsung, they update their budget devices last and they do their premium devices first because you pay more money. Obviously, you get the better update, you're first in line. As with most phone brands of this caliber, especially in the Android market where it's several different phone brands and not just the one like on Apple's side. Now, comparatively, I don't think I would compare this to an iPhone. At the very least, if you are going to compare this to an iPhone, this feels closer more so to the iPhone SE 2020 compared to like an iPhone 10 or an iPhone 11 or something. It's just not premium enough to even call it above an iPhone SE equivalent, because the power that you're getting here is really not as good as a more higher end 35 series phone or 55 series phone or something like their S series or Z series. It's just not that premium in terms of performance. Now, to check out this camera here. So interestingly enough, the camera is locked in at 12 megapixels by default, but you can go up to 50. Now, the 12 megapixel is the only one that supports being able to zoom out and everything. For video, and I'm gonna show you guys, for video, you only get up to full HD 30, which is kind of sad. So if you guys are looking to record your YouTube videos or your vlogs, I'm going to stress this to you. This will get you into the field as a vlogger because it can replace budget cameras. What it cannot do is it cannot propel you to a full-time vlogger. If you're going to do any of that stuff or record any major film projects or YouTube videos, I highly recommend starting with this phone, and then as soon as you get the money to upgrade it, if you have that disposable income and you want to upgrade it, go ahead and upgrade to the A50 series. The A50 series is the bare minimum I would recommend for phone cameras when it comes to YouTube, just because the A50 series and above, they get the premium camera features, or at least they start getting the premium camera features at 50 and 70, and then S and then Z in that order, and the lower 30 to 15 and even the A0 series, they don't get the good cameras at all, not in this regard. So if you're gonna do anything like that, I would look elsewhere to start off. Now, that being said, it's still a decent camera, it's passable, and as for brightness outdoors when you're taking video, it's fine. It's not going to be standout. Like my S24 Plus, if I took a picture outside, if I went to my campus down the road and I took a picture outside, it would be so vibrant and you could see for miles upon miles of clear image. This is not going to be that level of quality. And I can tell you that from experience, it will not be anywhere near that quality. But what I can tell you is the brightness of the screen. The brightness of the screen is pretty decent. It's on max right now, and when I was recording or taking a picture for the thumbnail, the brightness of this almost blew out my camera on my phone. And keep in mind, I had my S24 Plus on 50 megapixel mode, so I wasn't even on low quality when I took it. So that being said, brightness is good for indoor usage. Now, if you're going to be outdoors, this is what I'm going to advise you to do. If you're going to be outdoors for phone calls and for text messages, Discord, watching videos, perfectly fine. It's reasonably bright outside. It's not going to be stellar though. I would not play games outside on this, especially competitive games like COD Mobile, and I really wouldn't play games on this phone besides the basic side scroller and puzzle games anyways, because this thing is a slow processor, which I'll get to in a second. But what I'm getting at here, if you're gonna play anything outside, it's gotta be something that doesn't demand a whole lot and that doesn't require your eyeballs to be hyper focused, because it's not gonna get bright enough for that. But it's gonna be bright enough to see, but it's not gonna be bright enough to have everything legible. And if you're in dark mode, do not use dark mode outside. It will be pretty dim. And I'm not too keen on saying that with a lot of phones. But this is one thing I will say: don't use dark mode outside in the broad daylight. On this phone that I'm using for my recording, on any other phone, you can get away with that. This phone, you cannot. It's going to be a little bit too dim for certain parts of text, so just keep that in mind. But for general viewing, like I said, it's fine. Minecraft, you boot it up, Minecraft works great. COD Mobile, I'm gonna tell you, COD Mobile, even on performance mode, you're gonna be playing on low. Comparatively, I'm comparing it to my S24 Plus a lot because I want you guys to get a good idea as to how this thing stacks up to a more mid-range or higher end phone. That's why I keep coming back to my S24. That's my main phone. That is the one that performs. Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 works great. That phone I'm comparing it to so you can get a good sense of how this thing works. So Minecraft, it's fine. You can play it all day. Temple Run, if you guys are familiar with the monkey grabbing game where you run from the monkey, the giant monkey on the temple, and it's cursed and you have to escape going through the mazes and the water slides and everything. You guys are familiar with that game? I don't know if you guys are. That game works great. Candy Crush Saga works great. Monopoly Go, similar games work great. Where you start running into issues when you play games like Genshin Impact, when you play Diablo, when you play Battle Prime, COD Mobile, when you play that new game that came out, I forgot what it's called. I'll confirm it with a pop-up on the screen once I find out what it was called. When you play Rainbow Six Siege, if that's already out yet, or if it's out at the moment, I don't know if it's out yet. When that comes out, Car X Street, Need for Speed, those games are games that are going to be hit or miss. So just keep that in mind. I don't even think Genshin will even run on this processor, to be honest. When I had my A53 5G, I was struggling to play that, so I doubt that Genshin will run. But all the other games are going to be a hit or miss as to whether or not they run. You probably can get COD Mobile to work, but again, it's like I said, hit or miss. You play it at your own downfall if you guys lose matches because it's not at 120 FPS. Don't blame me, because I told you guys it's not a fast processor, so it's not meant to be a gaming phone. You want a gaming phone, get a higher end phone, get a mid-range phone, or if you're going to be gaming like an esports professional, get the ROG Phone 9, ROG Phone 10 if that's out, or when it comes out. Go ahead and get one of those, because this phone is not going to be for gaming. I promise you that now. And as far as video editing, don't. I'm going to say it again. Video editing, don't. Just don't. Just don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. I'm promising you. Don't do it. But everything else, like calls, text, like I said, fine. Perfectly fine. I'm going to play through Minecraft really quickly just so I can give you guys a good idea as to how Minecraft is going to run. I'm going to play on survival because survival is a bit more demanding than creative mode. I'm just going to leave it at random settings, let you guys see what the render distance is at, and then let you guys judge for yourself how Minecraft is going to run. I'm not even going to try COD Mobile. One thing, because I play ranked and I don't want to mess up my stats. Also because I just don't think it's going to be worth it. I don't think it's going to run. I don't think it's really going to matter. It really just doesn't run at optimal speed. Not like I would play it anyways. You're okay playing on low. You can get away with it. I'm perfectly fine with that. It might be hit or miss, but you can try. But as far as like high settings, I don't think COD Mobile is going to work very well. But yeah, Minecraft is smooth. Minecraft is smooth because Minecraft can run on a potato. Like I said, like I'm gonna say it again, games like Candy Crush, Temple Run, they're all fine. They're all fine. It's just those high-end FPS, MMO, RPG games, they struggle. They're really gonna struggle on this processor. Also, I did not tell you guys the processor, so let me tell you guys the process. So I had to look it up just to verify to make sure I have the right one, but the A15 uses two different processors depending on the model. The 4G is the Helio G99, which that doesn't matter because we're in an age of 5G. I don't think any 4G phones exist anymore besides Motorola. They still sell them, by the way. Moto G Play, Moto G, $149, $199. They still have 4G. Don't ask why. They're 2024. They still have 4G. I don't know how they get away with that, but every other phone in this year, all of them, pretty much all of them, are 5G. So if you guys are worried about the 4G version, don't, because this phone, you look anywhere, in the United States, you're probably gonna get the 5G version anyways. So I'm gonna tell you, the 5G version has the Dimensity 6100 Plus, and that's a 6nm. So it's decent for what, like I said, the basic stuff. But when you try and do advanced gaming or video editing or photo editing, it's not really going to keep up with it. I mean, it does have an octa-core, but that GPU, and that's where it really boils down to, that GPU is going to be kind of a little bit of a hindrance. And even just scrolling around and just booting things up, like it took me a while to fully boot up the phone from the Android update. It took me only a minute or two to do it from my S24 Plus. This thing took like 3 to 4 minutes. It was like double the time, so that gives you a good sense. It's probably not it's, like I said, it's probably going to be hit or miss for a lot of things. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, I want to go over the display on this thing, just in terms of the refresh rate, and then I'm going to go over the battery life. Now, after that, I'm going to sit with this. Like I said, I'm going to sit with this thing for a week and give you guys my 1 week later impressions on it and review it 1 week later. It does have 90 Hz refresh rate, but it's not adaptive, so keep that in mind. Also, adaptive brightness, if you guys turn that on, it does get a little bit brighter, but not super bright. Vivid display doesn't have the vivid bug, so that as far as I can see, not with I don't see it having the vivid bug, so that's good. Not like the more premium phones, how they have that bug with it. I don't know if they fixed it or not, but yeah. And the navigation bar, you can use buttons or you can use swipe gestures. I prefer swipe gestures, but it's stuck on buttons right now, so we'll leave it at that. But you can use either or. Oh, it actually switched. Nice. So you can use the navigation gestures. So if you want to use the gestures like you can on the expensive phones, you can turn that on. This phone has it turned off by default. Actually, I think most Samsung phones have that turned off by default. You have to go into settings and change it to have gesture support for when you're on your phone scrolling. And what it will do is it will give you this bar at the bottom, and then you can swipe up, swipe left, swipe right, kind of like you can with the iPhone. But yeah, okay, so that's the phone. First impressions, let me know what you guys think. I did my best, tried to cover everything I possibly can. If you think I missed anything, let me know in the comments down below. Now, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm HJ, and I'll catch you guys after I do my 1 week impression with this phone.